Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Albert. Today, I'm going to take my time to show you how you can set up your Octa MFA policy, how to set up Octa MFA policy for your organization or for your users. So before I go ahead, I just want to tell you that my YouTube channel is all about IT, it's all about technology, and also looking at some of the new technology that is in town, so that we can access those technologies and then talk about it and then do deployment and then also teach people how to use those technologies in your organization. All right, so before I go ahead and then do the protocol or the practical for you to see, you have to understand what MFA stands for, or what an MFA is, and how or what is the benefit of MFA to an organization. That is very, very important. So MFA simply means a multi-factor authentication, and it is a second security layer that is used to verify the identities of users, or identify the identity of people, of users. Just to make sure that the person who claims to be who or she is the actual person trying to get access to the account. So MFA is another step that we use to verify the identities of users who are trying to get access to the organization, or try to get access to the resources of the organization, or get access to an application. And the benefit of an MFA is that it helps to secure the organization resources, or it helps to secure users' account. There were a lot of times that before MFA, it was just the login credential, that is the username and the password. But these days, security teams or security engineers have been able to, and software developers, software engineers have been able to bring this security framework to help protect and secure the organization resources and the users working in organization. So MFA is very, very important for every organization, and most of identity providers who are currently managing or providing solutions to enterprise environment mostly enforce MFA policy in their tools, so that it can help protect users and then the resources of the organization. So now it is not just going to be only the username and the password, it is also going to be another step to verify the user before the user can get access to the resources of the organization. So for example, sometimes when you're trying to get into your Gmail, what happens is that immediately you put in your email or your username and then your password, Google or Gmail will like to authenticate just to make sure that you are the person that you claim to be. So what happens is that sometimes Google will send you a code to your phone, or will send a notification to either your YouTube app on your phone, just to verify that it is really you. Sometimes I receive notification on my phone just to verify my identity, that indeed it is me who is trying to get access to my email. The same thing applies to Facebook. You know that sometimes when they try to get into your Facebook account, they are going to send you a PIN or a token, and then you are going to put in the code into their you're going to put in the code just to verify that you are actually the person that you claim to be. The same thing also applies to Octa. With Octa, what happens is that the IAM engineer or the Octa administrator is going to set up an MFA policy for everybody in the organization, and he's going to define the policy, what the company is going to take, or which MFA type that the organization is going for. So it can either be that the organization would like to go for, let's say, maybe who you know, or want to go for what you have, depending on what the organization wants. So sometimes the Octa administrator or the IAM engineer will be the one who will come up with an idea that, okay, fine, we want to use we want to use what you know as a factor, as a type of MFA to add another layer to it so that we can protect or secure, what do we call it, secure our users. There are a lot of banks currently who are using MFA. So for example, sometimes you can try to get access to your credit account or to your bank account, and when you put in your username and your password, they will tell you, they will ask you a security, they will ask you to set up a security question. For example, which city was your first job, or in which city did you meet your spouse, or in which city did you grow up, or what is the name of your pet, or who was your favorite person in college. So this is another step that most banks are introducing to help protect and secure the account of their users. So that is exactly the same thing that Octa has, but Octa also has their own MFA policy, and that is what I'm going to take you through to show you how the Octa MFA policy is and how you can implement those policies in your organization. So this is just the general meaning and general understanding of what an MFA stands for. So I want you to join me as I show you how to set up the policy in Octa. Thank you. So this is my Octa portal, right? When you log in for the first time, this is what you're gonna see. This is my Octa portal. Now on the left side is where you have the different tabs that you can go in and look at, do the configuration, and whatever configuration that you want to do, maybe you want to do customization, you can do it. But today our focus is now on the MFA policy, how you can set up an MFA policy. So I need to explain to you, this portal that I have here is the Octa Classic engine. I have another one here. This one is the Octa Identity Engine. So they are almost the same. There's that the Octa Identity Engine has different features. So for example, if you come to the security blade here, you can see that they have the general health insight, authenticators, authentication policy, global session policy, profile enrollment, identity providers. But when you come to the Classic Engine here, you can see that they have only general health insight authentication, multi-factor, identity provider. They don't have what we call it. I did not see the global session policy. There is no global session policy here. When you can look at they don't have is it authentication policy? Let's check it out. Yeah, there's no authentication policy here. What again, device assurance policy, there is no device assurance policy also here. So that's some of the new features that are inside the Octa Identity Engine. All right, so when you come to your portal here, you go to security. So in the security blade, you go to multi-factor authentication. So when you come to this multi-factor authentication, factor type. So Octa has what we call the factor types. The factor type determines which one you want to use as the second security layer for your users or for your organization. So after your users have type in their username and also type in their username and then their password, what other factor do you want to use to help to verify or to authenticate, just to make sure that the users are the actual users that are in your organization? All right, so that is the factor type here. So the factor type, we have the Octa Verify, which is an application that you need to go to the App Store and then download it. You have the SMS. So the SMS simply means that whenever the users are setting up the account, and when they put in their username and password, what is going to happen next is that they are going to be required to set up their SMS or what do we call it, an SMS authentication, so that they can receive a code on their phone through text messages. Yeah, so that's that one. And I've gone ahead to activate the Google Authenticator. So the Google Authenticator is also an app that you can download on your phone, and then they will give you a barcode. You scan everything. I'm just going to do that for you to see. Then they have the FIDO2, or some people call it the FIDO or the FIDO02, or the FIDO2 or web authentication, semantic VIP, on-prem MFA, RSA secure ID, and the email authentication. Now, when you come to the factor enrollment, so this is where you set up the policy, right? So you set up the policy here, and then you apply the policy to either the users, to a group, or to an application. So I'm going to explain it more as we get as we go further. So here now, let's say I am the Octa administrator, or let's say I am the IM engineer, and I've been tasked to set up an MFA policy for an organization, right? I've been tasked to set up an MFA policy for organization. So when I come here, I can just go ahead and then have this discussion, maybe explain these factor types, explain the importance of this to my IT director, or to my boss, that okay, fine, I'm going to set up an MFA policy, but I want to show you what Octa has. Then I can go ahead and explain the Octa Verify. I'm going to explain how the Octa Verify works. I'm going to explain how the SMS authentication works, how the if I'm going to use a Google Authenticator, how it works. I'm going to explain all these things to my boss so that we can come to one agreement that okay, fine, we want to use the Octa Verify as one. So as an IM engineer or IM administrator, one thing that you got to do is that you need to have this discussion with your boss and explain to him or her the reason why you want to go for either the Octa Verify or something like that. You know what I'm saying? All right. So now I'm going to set up the policy. So here I have chosen Octa Verify, SMS, and then Google Authenticator. So those are the types. Now I have to also explain to you that now this Octa Verify here, it falls under the second types of multi-factor authentication, which is something you have, that is possession, something you possess, that is your mobile phone, because this Octa Verify is an app that you're going to download on your phone, and you're going to receive the prompt on your phone. So I chose this, and then the SMS is also it also falls under the same second type, that is something you have. All right, so now let's go to factor enrollment. So here I'm going to set up the policy. So let's call this policy just a minute, let me check the groups that I have here first. All right, so I have I have staff already. So now let's go back to multi-factor authentication, factor enrollment. All right, add multi-factor. All right, so the policy, I'm going to call this policy staff policy description. Okay, so this policy is for staff to use Octa Verify to authenticate. All right, this policy is for staff, staff members to use Octa Verify to authenticate. The reason why I give that it's optional. You can decide to do it, you can decide not to do it, but I'll just give this description so that it can help me identify the other ones that I'm going to do. All right, so I have this policy. Now I need to assign this to groups. So which group am I going to assign? Because I say staff, so I'm going to apply this policy to my staff, all the staff. That means that anybody who is going to be part of the staff group will be affected, right? So now this is assigned to groups. Now I have to come to effect factors. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to enforce this policy. So here it is not going to be optional. If you make it optional, I'm going to show you the optional side of it so that you see. If you make it optional, it means that they can choose not to do it. But if you want to enforce the MFA policy, then it means that you need to make sure that you make this a required. And then you can make this one, you can disable the Google Authenticator, and then SMS authentication, make it optional for them. Just limit them. They can either choose to use it or not. You can go ahead and then create this policy. Now I need to add a rule. So this is going to be the staff Octa Verify rule. So let me explain this rule to you. Well, so that is the rule name is staff Octa Verify rule. Exclude users. Exclude no, you don't exclude any user. So so this is how the rule says goes. It says that if user's IP is anywhere, then enroll in multi-factor the first time a user is challenged for MFA. So whenever a user, when somebody is setting up the MFA for the what do we call it? When we create an account, let me just put it that way. When we create an account for a new user, and the user is setting up the account, the person should be challenged for the MFA so that the person will set up their MFA. And I'm going to create a new user for you to see, so that you'll see how it works. So we create a rule. All right. So the other thing is that this is the policy. I've created the policy. I can go ahead and then edit the policy. If I want to, let's say, make this one a required policy, I can just go ahead and then make it a required and then update the policy, right? So that you can see that on here it's showing that. I don't think whether you can see this. Let me push this one here. You can see. Okay. So you can see that right here it says that the Octa verifier is required, the Google Authenticator is disabled, so which means that this thing is not even going to show when they are trying to set up the account. And then SMS authentication is also required, but I don't need that. I can go ahead and then put it back to optional. Update the policy. So now it's here. When I can also go ahead and then deactivate this. I can go ahead and deactivate it. So now it's deactivated. Now because it's deactivated, what happens is that it is not going to work. If any users try to get access to it, it's not going to work unless I activate this policy. So now the policy is active. I can decide to go ahead and then edit it. The same thing also applies to the rule. I can go ahead and then also edit the rule if I want to do that. All right. So now I have this policy, and the policy is applying to the group that is applying to staff members. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to go out to directory and then create a new user. Add a new user. I'm going to call this person Hilda Bassi. Okay, bring the Bassi here, and I'm going to give the person an email as hbassi let me use this, and then a password. I'm going to say that set by administrator. No, you must not change the password. I'm going to put in my own password. All right, so I'll just go ahead and save this. Oh, username. Oh, okay. So so normally the username has to be the same as the email, the primary email. That is it. The username has to be exactly the same as the primary email. So I'll just go ahead and then save it. Perfect. So now sometimes it takes a little while, so I need to refresh this. All right, there it is. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to ask this person, well, say the account is active here. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to add, let me bring this one back here. I'm going to add Hilda to the staff group that I created, right? So that it can so that the MFA policy can affect her. All right, so let's go to, so there are two ways that I can do it. I can either open up Hilda profile and go to groups here and then search for the group that I'm looking for, staff group, and then I can go ahead, click the staff group here, and then it has been added, right? It has been added. I can just also go ahead and then just delete, remove the staff group. The other way is that I can go to groups here and then open the staff group here and search for Hilda's name. Assign people to this group. I can come here and then click on this plus button here, and then yeah, Hilda has been assigned. So when I go to people and then I go to Hilda and then I go to groups, it's going to show the group that Hilda is. So as you can see, it says I'm manually managed. So Hilda is in the staff group, right? Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is that we are going to let Hilda log into the account. Let me check if I even have applications that I can even assign it to her. Let's go and check. I don't think I have any. application active. Okay. Oh, I have this application. Okay, no problem. Let me assign this application to her. Where is Hilda? Assign this application to Hilda. Save and go back. Okay, perfect. So the next thing is that I'll just go back to Hilda and then copy the username here. I'm going to sign out, right? I'm going to sign out from this account, and then I'm trying to let Hilda sign into it. All right. Oh no, there should be a trigger. Hold on. It should have triggered. Wait a minute. Let me see. Okay. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me go back and then check why this MFA policy did not trigger. Okay, let me put Hilda in the help desk group. I don't know why. Assign people. Okay, I'm gonna put her in the help desk group, and then go back to security and then change multi-factor authentication. I don't know why this thing did not work, but I'm going to troubleshoot it. So edit this, and then let's put this policy in the help desk. Okay, perfect. Update this policy. All right, so let's see, let's go back to the rule. I don't know what happened. I did this rule. Let's say the first time a user is challenged for MFA, the first time a user signs in. Okay, let's change this to update rule. Now let's go back, and then all right, let's go back, sign out, and then try it again. All right, perfect. So set up Octa verify. All right, so now there's a trigger. I think that it has to do with the rule. I guess it has to do with the rule. That is the reason why it did not trigger. So yeah, it has to do with the rule. So yes, so now this is the trigger that I was looking at. I have to troubleshoot and know the reason why it did not trigger. And yes, this is not the first time that I'm facing something like this before. I've faced something like this before, and I have to troubleshoot and then make sure that I get the reason why it did not work. So it is very, very important. And I'm not going to edit this side from there. Yeah, it is good that we did it together, so that you know what the problem was, and then we have been able to figure it out why it did not trigger, right? Okay, so now this is what I'm talking about. So now the first time that so you see that in the rule I said that the first time that a user is going to sign in, so that the first time is this is going to be her first time that she is signing in. So use push notification sent to the mobile app. So I'm going to use this configure factor. So now you see that it's asking me for select your device. So it's going to be Android or iPhone. I'll pick Android. If I'm using Android, it's going to pick up an Android, and it says that I download the Octa Verify app from the App Store. So that is what I'm going to do. So let me pick up my phone and then do this as quick as possible. Just a minute. All right, so thank God I'm going to all right, so what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to go ahead and then download the Octa. I think that I already have it. Let me see. All right, I don't have it, so I'm going to go to, I don't know if you can see. So I'll type in Octa verify. I'm going to show it. Let me open the screen. Let me open this one so that you can see it well. All right. So this is going to be the second one. I don't know if you can see this. You see that we have the Octa verify, and there's an update on it because I've downloaded it earlier. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and then download this again. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and then open it. Great. So let me show you this. Let me delete this account, remove this account, delete this account. Perfect. Okay, so when you download it for the first time, this is what you're going to see. Add account. So there's no account, there's no account added. So this is what you're going to see, and you see that on the top right corner it has the plus sign. So I'll go ahead and then hit on the plus sign. The next thing is going to ask me, I want you to take a look at it. It says that what choose account type. So it's going to be either organization or other. So I work for an organization, I'll pick organization. So the next thing is that I'm going to click on skip. So it says that, do you have a QR code? You see that, do you have your QR code? Right. So what I'm going to do is that, yes, I have a QR code. So I'll go ahead and then hit on ready to scan. Yes, ready to scan. And then I'll come to the desktop here and then hit on next. I'm going to see the QR code. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to scan the QR code, right? Perfect. So now this is what is going to show. I'm just doing the practical aspect for you to see. You see, it said account added, right? So I just go ahead and hit on done. Perfect. So now when you look at here, it says that SMS authentication. Now, if you remember, it says that additional optional factors. If you remember, when I was setting up the SMS authentication, I made it optional. I did not make it required. And you remember, I disabled the Google Authenticator. So when you go to the Google Authenticator, you see that the Google Authenticator is not showing here because I disabled it. But for the SMS authentication, I did what? I made it optional. So the person, your user, can decide that, well, they are going to set it up or just leave it, right? So I can decide, say, okay, fine, and now I want to set up the SMS, or I don't want it. So I'll just go ahead and then say finish. So yes, there it is. So now if I have any apps here, what is going to happen is that you see that all the apps will be here for Hilda. So that is the MFA policy that I just set up. This is for the Octa Classic engine. I'm going to go ahead and then sign out from here and then go back to dev. All right. All right. Let me go ahead and then reduce this thing a little bit. Okay, great. All right. So when you come back to the security and you come to multi-factor, so you can see when you come to factor enrollment. So now look at the rule. This is the rule. So that if the user is anywhere, enroll in multi-factor the first time a user signs in. So when a user signs in, yes, it should what do we call it? It should trigger the MFA policy so that the person will go ahead and then set up the MFA policy, right? Great. So now I'm taking you back to the OIE, the Octa Identity Engine. So this one is a little bit different from what we just saw, right? But I'm still going to take you through. With this one, when you come here, so what you're going to look for is you're going to look for these two. We have the authenticators, but let me just open it for you to see. So this is the authenticators. It is just exactly as the same as the multi-factor authentication that we were looking at. So when inside here, you can see that they have what we call the email, which is the possession, something you have. You have an email, right? We have their name, the factor type, the characteristics used for. When you come to the Octa Verify, the Octa Verify has the possession, which is the device bound, and we also have the possession plus knowledge. So which simply means that the possession may be like your email, and the knowledge, that is your password. That's something you have. You have a password, a PIN code, or a security code. And you also have the combination of possession plus biometric. And this one is a phishing resistant. So normally you can go ahead and download the Octa FastPass for it, right? And we also have the password, which is the knowledge, and we have the phone, which is the possession. So these are the, what do we call it, the authenticators for Octa. So you can go ahead, and if you want to add a different authenticator to it, maybe you want to add a Google Authenticator, if you want to add an SMS, but they already have phone, that is a possession. So if you want to go ahead and then add a phone, they already have phone. Yes, I can also go ahead and then add a security. So there's a security question that I wanted to talk about. So the security question says that it's used for, this authentication can be used for recovery, authentication, and recovery. So I want the first one. I want authentication. I can add it to it, right? So I have a security question. That is the knowledge. That is what you know. That is knowledge, and it's also exactly the same as the password. So this is one of the things that a lot of banks use. So they after you have put in your username and your password, the next thing will be the security question that I was talking about. I can go ahead, and if I want to edit it, I can go ahead. Yeah, I want it to be only recovery or not, right? Perfect. So let's come to enrollment. So this is the enrollment. This is how we are going to do the enrollment. So it's exactly the same as the first one that I did, right? So this is how you're going to do the enrollment. This is how you set up the policy. But first of all, you need to come and then set up the authenticator first before you go and then do the enrollment, the multi-factor enrollment. Sorry about that. So the next thing is that you come to enrollment, you come to set up a policy, right? So now you can see that here, this is the default policy. Normally, whenever in Octa, whenever you come to the multi-factor authentication policy, Octa has a default policy for you. So the default policy says that the default policy applies in all situations if no other policy applies. So yes, and that is true. If there is no other policy, then you can go ahead and then use their default policy, and it's assigned to everyone. And the eligible authenticators, we have the email, we have the Octa Verify, we have the password, phone, and then security questions. So now let's say I am an Octa administrator or Octa engineer. I'm going to set up an MFA policy, right? So this one, let's say my boss has given me the authority. You say, you know what, you go ahead and do, I trust you, do whatever you want to do, but just make sure that everything is secure. I said, yes sir, yes boss, I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to set up a policy, an MFA policy, right, for my organization. And the name of my organization is techbec.onmicrosoft.com. So I'll go ahead and then add a policy, and I'm going to call this policy, hold on. Let's say I want the policy to affect, let me go to the groups there, look at the groups that I have. Okay, so I have the sales department, let's deal with the HR department, because the HR department, they have a very confidential information. So I want to apply this policy to only the HR group. So I can go ahead and then go to authentication, authentication policy, but authenticators. So I can go ahead and then set up the policy. So I'll add a policy and then name the policy as the HR authentication policy. The policy description will be this policy is what should be the description? The description is going to be based on whatever I want to use. Okay, this policy is for the HR department to use two-factor authentication. To use Octa Verify, and what again? And security question. All right. Okay, perfect. So this is what I have decided to put to describe the policy that I'm trying to set up. All right, so the next thing will be assign it to groups, and this is going to be the HR group. All right, it's going to affect the HR people. All right, so I don't want, okay, so I can say that, well, eligible authenticators. Well, I don't want email. I don't want people to use their email to authenticate. Octa Verify should be required. Yes, I want Octa Verify. I don't like the password thing. I don't also password disabled. Let's see if it's going to work. Yes, because I'm already going to set up a password for the user, so there's no need for me to use a password. Let's look at SMS. I don't like SMS, but the security questions, I'm going to say yes. I want it to be required. So the requirement means that I'm enforcing it, right? So whether you like it or not, you have to set up a security question for yourself before you can get access to the environment, to your portal. So let's go ahead and create this policy. All right, so he said that at least one password or email authenticator must be set to be required. All right, so I'll just go ahead and set up the password as it says that. Okay, require password, create a policy. Okay, perfect. So now let's go ahead and create a rule. So this will be the HR department. HR department authentication rule. All right, this time it will be allow if required authenticators are missing, deny enrollment of SSO authenticators, deny enrollment of all authenticators. No, allow if required authenticators are missing. Okay, let's go ahead and create this rule and then see what is going to happen. Because if you say you're going to deny enrollment of SSO authenticators now, deny enrollment of all authenticators, that means that if the user is anywhere, then the enrollment should be denied. That is all the authenticators that I've created is going to be denied now. So let's go and then just allow it and see what is going to happen. Perfect. So now let's come back to directory, come to people, and I'm going to create somebody. I'm going to name this person, let's say Joe Blends. I don't know why I like the name Joe Blends. So this is going to be G Blends. At techbet.onmicrosoft.com. All right, so whenever you type in the username, it also appears to be your primary email. So I can go ahead and then add him straight out from here to the HR department. To the HR, let's see, what did the HR up here? HR. I don't mean HR. All right. So activate now. Yes, the account has been activated. Yes. And then I will set up the password. I can go ahead and set up a password for it. Perfect. And then save. All right, never. So let me go and then normally when you create a user for the first time, you have to refresh the page. All right, so we have him here. So instead of password expired, that is the status. So now we have to activate his account. And when you go to groups, you can see that we added him to the HR group. So you see that HR group, we have one person here. When you open the HR department group, you can see that we have Joe Blends already here. All right, perfect. So the next thing that we're going to do is that we have to go and then log out and then try and log in to see if it is going to trigger for the MFA policy that we created for the HR department. So we go ahead and then sign out. And when we sign out, we are going to put in the username here to Blends, hit next, and then it says verify with your password. All right, so we can go ahead and then verify this and verify. All right, so that means we, oh, I should have set up change your name, new password. Let me go ahead and then change the password. All right, so change password. Perfect. So now this is what I was looking for. So you can see here that is requiring, it says that what? Octa Verify is an authenticator app installed on your phone used to provide your identity used for access. So now this is required. So that is why you're not seeing any option here. You know what I'm saying? So now I have to set up the Octa Verify and then at the same time set up the security question. All right. So I'll go ahead and then set up this. So I already have the app downloaded. I'll just go ahead and then add the account. Yes, you can add a multiple account to it, and then scan this QR code. There you go. So enable touch ID, enabled. All right, perfect. And then account is added. So this will change. Perfect. So now is also the second on the item is that I have to set up the security question. You remember I made it a requirement. Let me even open it a little bit. I made it a requirement that any person in my tenant, the person should be required for a security question. Right. So I just go ahead and then set it up. So choose a security question or create my own security question. Well, I want to choose a security question. So let's come here and then look at it. It says that what is the food you least like as a child? Dang. All right. What is the name of your first stuffed animal? Now, what did you earn your first medal award? What is your favorite security question? Oh man, forget it. Oh, let's see. Like, who is your favorite speaker or orator? What is your favorite book or movie? Oh, who is your favorite sports player? Let me pick this one. But one thing that you should also know that is you should also notice that this type of security question you shouldn't choose because it is easy. It is guess. It is easy because if somebody is tracking you to trying to get access to your account and the person sees who's your favorite sports player, maybe one day the person was having a conversation with you and they ask you, so who is your favorite sports player? And then you're going to be like, oh, Ronaldo or Messi or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So that normally this is not really a good thing to choose. So something like this, where did you go for your favorite vacation? Or what music album or song did you first purchase? Who is your favorite piece of art? But no problem. I'll just go and choose them just for tutorial sake, right? So I'll say my favorite sports player, the all-time sports player, the all-time. His name is called Messi. Oh yeah, I like that brother. So you see that here, you cannot see that, right? It's Messi. Oh man. So it's going to be, the answer is Messi. So I'll go ahead and then verify this. Perfect. All right. So now, yeah, this is it. I'm going to log out again and then try and log in again, and then let's see what is going to happen. All right, go to next. I'm going to type in my password. Verify. Let's try the password again. Wow. Wow. Okay. Let's see if it's gonna work. Oh, I know the reason why it's like that. Yeah. All right. So now we have access to it. Okay, hold on. Let's sign out and then let's go back to the admin console. And admin console was, I think, Hilda. Hmans at Microsoft dot come here. Yeah, that is here. All right, and then I go to okay, let's go to the admin portal. All right, then let's go to security, authentication policy. Let's go to authenticators. So we have here enrollment. So now everything is working fine. When you come to here, it says allow if required authenticators are missing. Okay, so now everything is working fine. Okay, all right. So thank you so much for taking your time to watch my video. If you like this video, I want you to go ahead and then subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also like this video and then share this video. I know that it took a little time, but at least at the end of the day you've learned something. So I want to say thank you so much for taking your time to watch my video, and I'll come your way with another video which has to do with the Octa password policy, how to set up the Octa password policy. So thank you so much for your time. All right.